Breaking news coming out in the past couple of hours today, March 15th, 2025, and also in the last 24 hours, a lot developing between the United States and potential conflict. As take a look at the latest headlines with me so you can see it for yourself. A message to Iran. U.S. launches a large-scale strike on Houthis in Yemen, officials have confirmed. Now take a look. Donald Trump announces a decisive and powerful airstrike against Houthi terrorists in Yemen. Now, Trump blames former President Joe Biden, pathetically weak in his responses to the Houthis. And let me know, do you agree with Donald Trump? If so, put yes. If no, put no. But we're hearing, take a look at this. U.S. officials say the strikes on Houthis to continue for days and possibly weeks. And you can see this coming out today, sourced from Reuters at 11:32 p.m. So this actually coming out from Israel. So in the past couple of hours, we're hearing this is unfolding here as these strikes are taking place. Now, additionally, live, U.S. hits Yemen's Sana'a over Israel attack threats. So what we're hearing is that over the past couple of days, the Houthis in Yemen, they have actually been threatening to attack more against Israel. And now the United States coming out and saying, we're not going to have that. In fact, we're going to hit back and hit back hard. Houthis take extreme steps to protect their leader in resuming Israeli attacks. There you can see that was March 12th, 3 days ago, as they said they were going to be resuming. And now we are hearing that the United States said, okay, we are going to hit you and hit you hard. Trump also says the ISIS's leader, his miserable life ended in a U.S. strike in Iraq. Now, as you can see, this came out today as well. So the U.S., Donald Trump stepping up. He is not messing around. And so you can see it for yourself. Take a look at this coming out today. Donald J. Trump on Truth Social. Today, I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against America and other ships, aircrafts, and drones. And this is a pretty lengthy one, so I'm going to read for you the entire thing so that way you can see it for yourself here in just a minute. In addition to that, I've got video footage that has come out in the past couple of hours on these updates as the United States today, March 15th, 2025, has officially struck the Houthi rebels in Yemen with massive airstrikes on behalf of the United States and Israel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Are we about to see things escalate significantly into an all-out war? Is Iran, the Houthis, going to back off? What do you think is going to unfold? Are we going to be entering into a greater conflict? If you think so, put a yes in the comments. If you think no, put no. Let me know your thoughts about what is going on here. But we are going to be reading for you this post coming out from Donald Trump, and he says that the time has come. He said, beware about what is about to unfold. He said, your time is up, saying that this must stop and hell will rain down upon you if they decide not to change course. Do you think that we are about to enter into significant war right now? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And we've heard Donald Trump and Israel both vocalize we cannot allow Iran or their rebel groups to get their hands on nuclear weapons. Now, right now, we've heard that Iran is pushing in that direction. Iran is claiming that they are not. However, they are enriching uranium up to, we've heard, up to, I think, 60%. They need to get to 90 to get their hands on nuclear-capable weapons. And we're hearing that right now, there is no reason for them, if they're just simply using nuclear power, to exceed, I think, more than 5%, if I remember correctly. Maybe it's even 3%. They have up to 60. And so they're saying that they are lying. Iran is lying despite what they are saying. They are trying to achieve nuclear power so that way they have the capabilities to have nuclear weapons and to use them against the U.S. or Israel. They call the United States the big Satan, Israel the little Satan, and they shout death to Israel, death to the United States. And we're hearing that now they are trying to progress to get this. Donald Trump, Israel saying we cannot allow it at any cost. We must stop them. And right now we're hearing that Donald Trump is saying it is time to send a message. So again, let me know your thoughts. Are we about to see major conflict unfold here in the Middle East? If yes, put yes. If no, put no. And do me a favor while I dive into the video footage, the articles, take a second, hit that like button for me. All this is going to be reference cited down in the description. I always provide for you the latest information. I show the sources, the dates, put it on the screen, read right from it, so that way you can rest assured and know that it is the latest and you can see exactly what is going on. Now, in addition to that, in today's breaking news, the U.S. has conducted strikes in Yemen, a development that is sure to heighten global tensions and add the already prevailing uncertainty to the world. In times like these, it is important to safeguard investments and become more critical than ever before about what is happening with your finances. Now, you can see here that gold has been going up over the past year, and this is due to the uncertainty. Gold has historically been the go-to asset during periods of inflation and geopolitical strife. As we watch these events unfold, it is clear why gold's value is on the rise. It's not just a safe haven. It's a smart investment against unpredictable economic impacts and conflict and inflation. For those of you looking to protect or possibly grow your wealth during turbulent times, I highly recommend considering gold as a part of your investment strategy. You can learn more about this by calling Lear Capital at 1-800-411-2430 or visiting their website at learram.com. They offer free, no-obligation wealth protection guides, and they can help you understand how to effectively secure your assets with gold. Again, you can reach them at 1-800-411-2430 to get started. In uncertain times like these, investing in gold isn't just an option, it is essential for financial security. So be sure to check them out. You can get that free guide right there. Remember, that's learram.com, and that's 1-800-411-2430. Be sure to check them out. They've got over 27 years of experience. Amazing people. I highly recommend them. So wanted to make that available to you. That is going to be pinned, linked down in the comments below. Thanks again to Lear Capital. But now let's go ahead and share with you the latest information so you can see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look at Donald Trump's post on Truth Social, the whole thing, and then I'm going to play for you the video footage so that way you can see it for yourself. Today, I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against America and other ships, aircrafts, and drones. Joe Biden's response was pathetically weak, so the unrestrained Houthis just kept going. It has been over a year since a U.S.-flagged commercial ship safely sailed through the Suez Canal and the Red Sea or the Gulf of Aden. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times, funded by Iran. The Houthi thugs have fired missiles at U.S. aircrafts and targeted our troops and allies. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and the world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. The Houthis' attack on American vessels will not be tolerated. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. The Houthis have choked off shipping in one of the most important waterways of the world, grinding vast swaths of global commerce to a halt and attacking the core principle of freedom of navigation upon which international trade and commerce depends. Our brave warfighters are right now carrying out aerial attacks on terrorist bases, leaders, and missile defenses to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets and to restore navigational freedom. No terrorist force will stop American commercial and naval vessels from freely sailing the waterways of the world. To all the Houthi terrorists, your time is up, and your attacks must stop, starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. To Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people. Their president, who has received one of the largest mandates in presidential history or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it. There you have it, you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. That statement released by Donald Trump today. Several hours ago, maybe about 4 or 5 hours ago, he released that on Truth Social, and we are seeing the reports pouring in over about the past 4 or 5 hours or so As we are hearing, the U.S. is conducting massive strikes against the Houthis in Yemen. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at some video footage so you can see it for yourself. And do me a favor, before we dive in, if you haven't done so yet, hit that like button, subscribe to stay up to date, and let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so that way you can see it for yourself.
Lucas Tomlinson is at the White House for us with the latest on those strikes. Lucas.
John, these are the most significant airstrikes since President Trump returned to the White House, and the first time U.S. jets have struck these Iranian-backed Houthi rebels in Yemen since President Trump returned to the White House. U.S. officials say F-18 Super Hornets from the flight deck of the USS Harry S. Truman were the vanguard of the strikes, along with Air Force fighter jets and drones. President Trump announcing the strikes just a few minutes ago on his Truth Social, saying, quote, Joe, today I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones. Joe Biden's response was pathetically weak, so the unrestrained Houthis just kept going. And John, recall, it's just days after taking office, one of President Trump's first executive orders was redesignating the Houthis a foreign terrorist organization after the Biden administration removed them. The State Department made it official earlier this month, marking Houthi leaders ripe for assassination. The targets in today's strikes include air defense systems and missile and drone factories, and also include a strike against one of the Houthis' top missile officers. The Houthis are backed by Iran. Many consider them modern-day Barbary pirates. Since the October 7th massacre, they have launched over 100 attacks against commercial shipping. U.S. warships also came into the crosshairs of the Houthis dozens of times in recent years. The Houthis launched anti-ship ballistic missiles and crewed drones at the American warships. None were successful and all were shot down. And just a few days ago, Houthis leader said attacks would resume against shipping in the Red Sea, and including Israeli ships. Now, General Kurilla, the head of U.S. forces in the Middle East, has been itching to launch these strikes to reopen those vital shipping lanes and destroy Iran's proxy force in Yemen. Kurilla ordered Truman, the U.S. Navy aircraft carrier, back to the Red Sea late last month to be prepared to launch these strikes. And those Super Hornets, as you can see there. Now, last month, the Houthis launched surface-to-air missiles at an Air Force F-16 orbiting overhead, as well as an American Reaper drone. And John, it's not just in Yemen where U.S. forces have been engaged. Last night, President Trump announced the #2 leader in ISIS had been killed in an American drone strike. We have some video footage, as you can see there. That happened in western Iraq yesterday. And John, these airstrikes against the Iranian-backed Houthi rebels were meant to send a message to Tehran as well, to stop their support for the Houthi rebels. Of course, that's where these missiles and drones that the Houthis fire at commercial ships and U.S. warships come from. I'll also read a little more from President Trump's lengthy statement on Truth Social. He had a message to the Houthis. It says, quote, your time is up and your attacks must stop starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like never before. And to Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. And President Trump said he won't be nice about it, John.
You're a Navy veteran, Lucas. I know that during the Biden administration, the Navy said it was basically more engaged in seaborne operations than at any time since, I think, World War II. Do I have that right? And is this kind of intended to put an end to that kind of thing on the part of the Houthis?
That's right, John. Multiple times U.S. warships came under ballistic missile attack in the Red Sea and off the coast of Yemen in the Gulf of Aden. And just for context, that has never happened in world history. Ballistic missiles have never been launched at U.S. warships before. Thankfully, they were all shot down. But that was always a concern in the Pentagon. What if those missiles gets through? It was notable in President Biden, in his farewell address, he talked about U.S. forces not being engaged in combat. And if you looked at the Navy press release when the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower strike group returned from the Red Sea, they talked about hundreds of bombs being dropped against the Houthis, dozens of surface-to-air missiles from those Super Hornets shooting down those crewed drones that are flying overhead. There was also an issue of cost. You know, these interceptor missiles launched from the guided missile destroyers and cruisers in the strike group, John, those missiles cost millions of dollars, shooting down what were in essence, flying lawnmowers launched from the Houthis, very crude drones, just, $50,000 or so in cost. And the fact that these shipping lanes vital shipping lanes that are needed for commerce, for the oil trade, have been essentially shut down since the October 7th massacre. Commercial ships having to take that long journey around Africa, certainly adding to the cost. So certainly there's an economic message here with these strikes against the Houthis today. And by the way, John, these strikes could go on for a number of days. That's not immediately clear.
Right, because I read that one of the goals is to target their weapons storage facilities, which are reportedly deep underground. So they're going to be using those bunker busters and probably repeatedly to try to get to those warehouses that are essentially buried.
Right, and it's notable, John, those Super Hornets carry 2,000-pound JDAM satellite-guided bombs. Those are not bunker busters, so if you needed those, you probably have to call in something heavier, some B-52 bombers, perhaps a B-2 bombers. We saw that one time during the Biden administration, B-2s launching from Whiteman Air Force Base in Missouri. But certainly this is a powerful message being sent. You know, you also have Tomahawk cruise missiles aboard those guided missile destroyers in the Truman Strike Group. We didn't hear about any Tomahawk strikes today, but certainly there's more firepower in the area if called upon. A
powerful message being sent not only to the Houthis, but as you say, to Iran as well, Lucas.
There's no question, John. President Trump recently sent a letter to the Ayatollah saying Iran needs to end its nuclear enrichment program, stop in this path toward what many in the intelligence community say is a path to a nuclear bomb. The Israelis have been itching to strike the Iranians so far. While the Trump administration has voiced its support for such an operation, President Trump has said he wants to end this diplomatically. That's why he sent that letter, but it was rejected from the Ayatollah. But the Iranians support these Houthi rebels, and so there's no question this is a message being sent to Tehran as well in Sana'a in Yemen.
All right, Lucas Tomlinson at the White House. If you get more information on these attacks against the Houthis in Yemen.
There you have it, you guys. And you heard them say there that they are trying to stop Iran from creating a nuclear bomb. So they said that they need to do this right now to try to get them to stop this. They said that they are essentially going this direction as they're continually trying to enrich uranium. And also they are saying that the United States has had enough and these threats are being issued out to Israel. Now, in addition to that, let's go ahead and take a look at some more video footage on the breaking news. And this coming out just in the past 4 hours as well from Fox Live Now, so that way you can see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, 310 on the East Coast and 1210 on the West Coast. I do want to get you out to some breaking news that we are following as we take a live look over the White House here in D.C. President Donald Trump announcing that he has now ordered airstrikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. I want to pop this up on your screen. It is a portion of a post by President Trump just posted to his Truth Social. You can see it there on your screen. He says, "Today, I have ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military action against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against American and other ships, aircraft, and drones." The statement goes on to say Joe Biden's response was pathetically weak, so the unrestrained Houthis just keep going. It has been over a year since a U.S.-flagged commercial ship safely sailed through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aden. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times. Funded by Iran, the Houthi thugs have fired missiles at U.S. aircraft and targeted our troops and allies. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. The Houthi attack on American vessels will not be tolerated. We will use overwhelming lethal force until we have achieved our objective. The Houthis have choked off shipping in one of the most important waterways of the world, grinding vast swaths of global commerce to a halt and attacking the core principle of freedom of navigation upon which international trade and commerce depends. Our brave warfighters are right now carrying out aerial attacks on the terrorist bases, leaders, and missile defenses to protect American shipping, air, and naval assets, and to restore navigational freedom. No terrorist force will stop American commercial and naval vessels from freely sailing the waterways of the world. Want to pop you out to this live image once again, showing the White House in D.C. as we continue to read the statement coming in from President Trump To all Houthi terrorists, your time is up and your attacks must stop, starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before. To Iran, support for the Houthi terrorists must end immediately. Do not threaten the American people, their president, who has received one of the largest mandates in presidential history, or worldwide shipping lanes. If you do, beware, because America will hold you fully accountable, and we won't be nice about it. Again, that statement here coming in as we have learned from President Trump that he has ordered airstrikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. We'll keep you updated here as we do get additional information.
There you have it, you guys. And again, let me know, do you think that we're going to be seeing this escalate into a greater conflict? Or is Iran and the Houthis going to back down? We are hearing that this could be unfolding over the course of the next couple of days. Now, I got more video footage for you I'm going to show in just a second, but let's take a look at some of these articles so that way you can see it for yourself, what it is that is coming out here. As we're hearing a message to Iran, as this reads, U.S. launches a large-scale strike on Houthis in Yemen, officials confirm. Also, Trump announces a decisive and powerful airstrike against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. Trump blames former President Biden for being pathetically weak in his response to the Houthis. And let me know, do you agree with Donald Trump? If you think that Biden was pathetically weak, put a 47 for Trump. Now, if you think no, and you like the way that Biden handled his foreign policies, as they said he was trying to persuade them to get along, put a 46. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And also, don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, please take a second, hit that like button for me. Now, let's take a look at this article. As it says, President Donald Trump ordered airstrikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen, according to a fiery Truth Social post published on Saturday today. In the post, Trump wrote that he had ordered the United States military to launch decisive and powerful military actions against the Houthi terrorists in Yemen. They have waged an unrelenting campaign of piracy, violence, and terrorism against America and other ships, aircrafts, and drones, Trump wrote. Trump also criticized his predecessor, former President Joe Biden, writing that the Democratic president's response to the terrorist groups was pathetically weak, so the unrestrained Houthis, they just kept coming. It has been over a year since a U.S.-flagged commercial ship safely sailed through the Suez Canal, the Red Sea, or the Gulf of Aden, Trump continued. The last American warship to go through the Red Sea 4 months ago was attacked by the Houthis over a dozen times. These relentless assaults have cost the U.S. and the world economy many billions of dollars, while at the same time putting innocent lives at risk. To all the Houthi terrorists, your time is up, and your attacks must stop starting today. If they don't, hell will rain down upon you like nothing you have ever seen before, his post concluded. Now, the latest military action comes 3 weeks after the Houthis fired surface-to-air missiles, SAMs, at a U.S. F-16 fighter jet. 3 senior U.S. defense officials told Fox News that the February 19th incident marked the first time the Houthis had fired SAMs at a U.S. jet. The missiles did not impact the F-16, and the Houthis unsuccessfully fired another SAM at an American MQ-9 Reaper drone on that same day. Now, in January, Trump redesignated the Houthis as a foreign terrorist organization, a FTO, 4 years after his first administration made an identical move that the Biden administration had later reversed. Now, supported by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps Quds Force, or the IRGC-QF, which arms and trains terrorist organizations worldwide, the Houthis have fired at U.S. Navy warships dozens of times since 2023, endangering American men and women in uniform, the order noted. So there you have it. We're hearing that Donald Trump said that they are making a decisive and powerful move, striking the Houthis in Yemen. The United States doing this today. And we are also hearing that this could be going on for quite some time. U.S. officials say strikes on Houthis could continue for days and even possibly weeks. An unfolding U.S. military campaign of strikes against Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis could last days and maybe even weeks, a U.S. official tells Reuters, speaking on conditions of anonymity. U.S. President Donald Trump announced the start of the operations earlier on Saturday today, warning the Houthi attacks against Red Sea shipping needed to stop or hell will rain down upon you. So there you have it. And we're hearing this could be continuing on for quite some time. Now, we will see what the responses are going to be. We will see if this escalates further or if this slows down somewhat. But here you can see U.S. hits Yemen Sana'a over Israel attack threats. And this coming out today as well. You can see March 15th, 2025, U.S. President Donald Trump orders strikes on Yemen Houthis held capital Sana'a, threatening hell if the group does not cease attacks in the Red Sea. The Houthis' health ministry says at least 13 people lost their lives and 9 were wounded. At least 9 people lost their lives and several wounded in an Israeli drone attack in Biet in northern Gaza. Now, also, take a look at this. Houthis take extreme steps to protect Lear in resuming Israeli attacks. So they, 3 days ago, said they would resume attacking Israel. A source within Ansar Allah, widely known as the Houthi movement, has told Newsweek that the Yemeni group was taking heightened measures to safeguard its leaders as he threatened to resume attacks against ships linked to Israel. After issuing an ultimatum last Friday, Ansar Allah leader Abdul Malik al-Houthi declared Wednesday that his group would restart the campaign of missile and drone strikes that have targeted more than 100 vessels considered tied to Israel in response to the country's blockade of humanitarian assistance into the Gaza Strip. The campaign was halted in January after a deal was reached between Israel and the Palestinian Hamas movement calling for a temporary ceasefire, the exchange of prisoners, and an increase in humanitarian aid to Gaza. Well, last week, however, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced that assistance would be withheld from Gaza in order to pressure Hamas to extend the current ceasefire terms rather than proceed to the second phase aimed at negotiating a lasting peace. Following Houthis' last speech, an Ansar Allah source told Newsweek that the group would now pursue a policy of a siege for a siege until the siege on Gaza is lifted and the Zionist enemy returns to the agreement it previously agreed to and then renounced. So there you have it. So they said that they were going to be attacking, and we're hearing that right now the United States and Israel are responding. And also we saw a ISIS leader lose his life. Take a look. Also coming out, Trump ISIS leader's miserable life ended in a U.S. strike in Iraq. Khaja was also considered the group's chief of global operations in Iraq. U.S. Central Command, or CENTCOM forces, eliminated ISIS' second-in-command, Abdallah Maki Maslah, also known as Abdul Khaja, on Thursday in western Iraq, the organization announced in a post on X on Saturday. He was the group's chief of global operations in Iraq. CENTCOM conducted the strike in cooperation with Iraq's intelligence. U.S. President Donald Trump wrote in Truth Social's post that it was also done in coordination with the Kurdistan regional government. Another ISIS member has lost his life in this strike. So the United States, in roughly the past couple of hours, has announced this, but then also we saw this unfold in the last 24 hours. So a lot taking place here with things escalating significantly, and that is why we are seeing this massive statement coming out with the warning to Iran and to the Houthis. And I see Lisa in the comments saying, war, let's go. Thank you. So let me know, do you think that we're going to be entering into war? Do you think that this is going to be escalating, or do you think that we are going to see them back down? Do you think that this is going to be something that we are going to be able to avoid, or are we going to be entering into some form of war? Let me know your thoughts. But right now, as we see it, it looks like the United States is striking the Houthi rebels in Yemen significantly. Now, I've got some more video footage. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. This one is coming out from Fox News. Says, finally, Iran will get this message too, military analyst says. Now, as you guys know, the Houthi rebels, Hamas, Hezbollah, these are proxy groups. There's our terrorist proxy groups that are attacking Israel, threatening to the United States, and even also, as we know, have been targeting Donald Trump. And they are all coming from Iran. They say that Iran is essentially the head of the snake, so to speak. So Israel has no problem with going after Iran. That is essentially the source of all of these groups that are attacking them and also are threatening the United States and Donald Trump. So keep in mind, Donald Trump has been targeted by these groups as well. We're hearing that there have been several attempts of assassinations against Trump, talks of assassinations as a result of what he did by wiping out one of their leaders back during his first term. They are still trying to get retaliation against him for that, and we're hearing that is the reason why we are seeing him targeted. So he has no problem coming alongside of Israel and letting proxy groups or Iran itself receive some sort of retaliation. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage so you can see it for yourself.
Let's bring in national security and military analyst Dr. Rebecca Grant. Dr. Grant, picking up where I left off with Lucas on that last question. Yes, the Houthis are the target, but it's just as much a message to the Ayatollahs in Tehran, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And all I can say about these strikes is finally, this situation in the Red Sea has dragged on just far, far, far too long. What I'm hoping is that we'll see a really consistent and sustained campaign against the main targets that the Houthis are using to attack shipping. And that should include everything from weapon storage to command and control and radar sites. And because Iran supplies and supports the Houthis, of course, backed by China, who has recently sent a ship with missile propellant ingredients over to Iran, so Iran will get this message as well. And great work here by the Harry S. Truman, Carrier Air Wing 1, and of course there'll be some land-based U.S. Air Force fighters participating too. It's great to see our joint forces in action. General Kirill is doing the right thing.
Why did we tolerate this? I mean, as I mentioned with Lucas, the U.S. Navy was in the most sustained combat campaign since World War II under the previous administration. Why did we put up with it?
That's right. They played zone defense and did a tremendous job knocking down drones, missiles, taking out unmanned surface vessels. And, John, we used a rotation of the end, 5 different aircraft carriers, starting with the Gerald Ford right after the October 7th attacks and coming up now to the Harry S. Truman. We've had an aircraft carrier in that region consistently since then. What I like is seeing us use the striking power. President Trump has been really smart to use the striking power of the U.S. aircraft carrier to really get after these Houthi rebels. Remember, that's an illegitimate regime. The UN doesn't recognize them. They've been there a long time, but they're now creating a level of chaos, and we can't afford to have shipping closed off and our forces pinned down. So it was time to take offensive action, and I'm really glad President Trump has done it.
The regime may be illegitimate, but there are about 35 million people or so in Yemen, and virtually all of them are under the control of the Houthis. So is this possibly the first stage of knocking that regime out of power?
Interesting question. I don't know if regime change is the goal here. I think we really want to see them take out military capability. That will be the primary job. I would not be surprised to see these strikes go on for a little bit. And then, again, this has really got to send that message to Iran to stop supplying. We want to take out the weapon storage areas, the radar sites. And Iran has a ship there that they use to help the Houthis target maritime traffic. We need to end all of that. And so I hope the Ayatollah is really going to reconsider his military support down there, and that we use our U.S. military forces in a way that makes a very strong statement that we're done. We're done with these attacks against international shipping. This cannot go on. No matter how much Yemeni Houthi military capability we have to blow up.
Yeah, the Houthis are already saying that 9 civilians have been killed in these attacks, 9 injured. That, according to the health ministry that the Houthis run. In a situation like this, you probably cannot avoid civilian casualties, but given the level of bombardment that is apparently underway, I'm surprised if that number is real, and we don't absolutely have a way to verify that, but I'm surprised there aren't more.
Avoiding civilian casualties is a big requirement. This is part of the reason for striking at night. And remember, every target selected goes through a collateral damage evaluation, particularly if it's a building that's close in among some civilian facilities. But the vast majority of these things are straight up legitimate military targets, active radar sites, active missile launch sites, et cetera. And I know that our planners in Central Command are being extremely careful to target military targets. That's what they want to hit. They don't want to waste ordnance either. We don't want to see collateral damage. They want to get after their target objectives and get that task done.
President Trump liked to point to the fact that during his first term there were no wars launched, but is this tantamount to launching a war against the Houthis?
Reminds me more of President Trump's first term campaign against ISIS, when in a pretty short amount of time he wiped out the rest of that caliphate. I think it would be great for the Houthis to meet the same fate of being militarily taken apart as a viable military operation. They're doing absolutely no good. They are terrorists, they are pirates, they are affecting world shipping, and they've launched strikes against Israel. And what a mistake they made to pop back up, trying to influence events in Gaza yet again. Now they're going to feel the full weight of U.S. military power with the aircraft carriers, our fighters. B-2 bomber wouldn't surprise me as well, and that's due to President Trump. You know, the new sheriff in town, we are doing a new policy, and this is it for the Houthis.
I kind of wonder if they're the equivalent of the last man standing. I mean, Iran has its proxy armies, Hezbollah and Hamas. Those have been decimated by the Israelis. Now they've got the Houthis are sort of the last big force left, aren't they? And you know, is Iran about to see a triumvirate of defeats, I guess, among its proxy forces?
An excellent point. And as much as Hamas and Hezbollah have been decimated, I'd like to see the Houthi armament capability go down. Yes, I think we are looking at getting after one of the last big operational legs of Iran's terror mechanism. They really support so many terrorists around the world, always, of course, backed up by China, who buys 90% of Iran's oil and keeps Iran financially in the game.
Dr. Rebecca Grant, thank you for your expertise. We'll talk to you.
There you have it, you guys, and you heard her say that there is a new sheriff in town. If you agree, drop a 47. Donald Trump not going to put up with the same mess the same way that we saw with Joe Biden. So we have heard that this has unfolded today. The attacks are taking place. The United States is striking Houthi rebels in Yemen. We are going to see what's going to be unfolding here. As we are hearing, this could be unfolding over the course of the next couple of days, the next couple of weeks, and we're going to be seeing how they respond along with Iran. Donald Trump saying that Iran under no circumstance can have uranium enriched to the point where they could potentially have a nuclear bomb or a nuclear weapon that could attack the United States or Israel. Like I said, if you are glad to see Donald Trump taking care of business, as she said, new sheriff in town, drop a 47 in the comments. And if you haven't done so yet, hit the like button. Helps spread this out further. Just takes a quick second. Helps out the channel a ton. Subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? All of these articles are going to be linked in the description below so you can see them, see the dates. Rest assured to know that this is the latest. And also, thank you to today's video sponsor, Lear Capital. If you are interested in grabbing some gold and you saw it's been going up, prices have been going up with inflation and global conflict, uncertainty. The price of gold is going up, and we're hearing it's likely just going to keep on going up. If you want to increase the value of your earnings, make sure that you do so. Use learcapital.com. Thank you for those sponsors. They're going to be linked in the description below. But you guys, that is the latest. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll keep you up to speed as more comes out. And if you missed it, check out the video yesterday on Social Security. Millions of people are going to be getting $6,000. Roughly on average, almost $7,000 due to the Social Security Fairness Act. And also, I'm keeping you up to date on Doge, as we're hearing that those $5,000 Doge checks could be more, could be less, according to James Fishback. I had that interview with him. We will see. That is in the works as well. I will keep you up to speed on all of it so you know exactly what is taking place. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.